What's going on, guys? Welcome to 100% Chelsea and welcome to 100% Chelsea Live. You lot were going into us for basically going back to what we used to call it, which was a hangover stream. But you know what? We'll stick with this then to avoid people getting annoyed. So I'm joined by Lawrence, as per usual. Brandon isn't here, unfortunately. However, we do have a new guest in Nini. So, Nini, from Blue Lines TV, do you want to say hello?
Hey, everyone. You guys know me. I'm Chelsea F.C. from Blue Lines TV. And yeah, I'm happy to be on as a guest in the stream today. So it's good that we're collaborating and stuff. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Definitely, yes. Collaborations is so important for all of us to grow up together. But yeah, it's definitely. I think we all need to grow as a unit in the Chelsea community. There's a few, well, one that doesn't want to do it, but that's fine. But at the end of the day, you know, let's talk about to get. Oh, you know what? No, wait, Lawrence, say hello. Your face was like, no.
He's always that rude to me. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, good to be back. Obviously, some exciting news today. Obviously, still want to mention a few things about the game yesterday, but obviously, it's a lot more important things to talk about today. Let's be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Brandon, people are asking. Brandon couldn't make it. He's got a special family thing, something he hasn't done for ages, and he worked really hard yesterday, so he deserves a night off. So I've let him do it. For today. You know what? Before we start the game, you said there are more important stuff to talk about. Let's talk about it straight up. Obviously, I've already reacted to it, so I'll let you two talk about it a bit. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, how are we feeling?
Well, I'm just gonna go with it now. See, if you would have told me that, say in June, that we were going to sign him, I wouldn't have been overly excited about it. If I'm going to be honest, because I don't think there's any position where he's really, really good. Obviously, he can play three positions: centre mid, right wing back, and I mean, obviously, suppose left wing back as well, and on the wing as well. But now that we're that desperate for players, I think it's a good signing because, like I said, he can play in different positions and he can be the starter in one and be backup in different positions. So I think generally it's a very good signing. The fact that Arsenal just let him go. I mean, yes, he wanted to leave and all of that, but like, he started it. I still don't quite understand why he wanted to leave. Ambition and stuff, but our squad doesn't look like we're going to do all so much this year either. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but, you know, from that point of view, I don't really get it. But, you know, I'm happy he's here.
Yeah, basically, I think in regards to Oxlade-Chamberlain, it's the versatility. Now, of course, Conte's been trying to go in for players similar. You know, Italian managers, they like players that are adept at playing in different positions when they need it. Obviously, last year we were looking at Brozovic from Inter Milan and Badelj from Fiorentina. And they're two types of players that can play as wing backs in midfield further up. And Oxlade-Chamberlain is a jack of all trades. You know, the guy can play left wing back, right wing back, in midfield, right wing, left wing. And I think especially with that homegrown quota, it makes a lot of sense. In terms of his playing ability, is he like an upgrade to the team? No, he's just, I do feel that is very decent quality, you know, very good quality in terms of depth for the team.
One question that, sorry, Louis, that I want to ask you two basically is there's obviously been this rumor that apparently he doesn't want to play right wing back. And apparently that's been part of the reason why he wanted to leave Arsenal because, or on, you know, wing back anyway, because Arsene Wenger tended to play him there. So what do you think about that? What if he doesn't want to play there? Where would he even play? Because the only position where I could see him take a position in the starting 11 is the right wing back spot, and that's, you know, debatable. So
I mean, was it Sky that reported that he didn't want to play right wing back position?
I'm not sure. I just heard the rumor.
Nini, do you know?
You know what? In football, all this stuff happens all the time. You know, like, for example, a brief one was Nathan Ake. He was supposed to be going to Bournemouth to be playing in midfield. That was the main reason why he even went to Bournemouth originally. And this is why it took him so long to even get in their team during his loan spell, because he was used as a defender. And clubs constantly lie and snake it all the time. So if Oxlade-Chamberlain really thinks that he's only going to play right wing back, then he's, you know, clearly mistaken. That's not going to be happening.
Yeah, he'll be used everywhere. He'll be that player which I reckon will start. But you know how Aspilicueta, like when he start him, he moves. If we bring on a defender or a midfielder, he always ends up on that right hand side. Yeah. That'll be Oxlade-Chamberlain now. I think that Conte wants Aspilicueta as a centre back, but obviously because he didn't have the options for the minute. He was wanting to sign somebody, because we all know as a right wing back, Aspilicueta, as great as he is not really adept for doing that because he's got more of a defensive mindset than an attacking mindset. Yeah. So he does get up there, but it's just not his game.
Yeah.
So I think this signing will definitely change that up a bit. So now you've got a player who can literally, if you did it 3-4-3, you've got a player that can literally play all the way across that midfield. And it's brilliant. And not only that, he can move further forward if we need him to.
Yeah.
And he's just an engine, which is great.
So do you think he will get into the starting 11? Say we stick with the 3-4-3 ahead of Moses?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I think Moses is criminally underrated. And the funny thing is, the big criticism Moses really gets is it's his final product, end products. But all they mean by end products is his balls in the books. Oxlade-Chamberlain is the same type of quality from crosses. It's not any better than Moses's. The only thing is that his bonus is that, you know, it's not like he's world-class in any position. I mean, the reason why he's been moved around all the time under Arsenal is because they've got better players in those positions where, you know, he's supposed to be playing in, and that's why. But of course, because over the years he's been playing in different positions and he can do a decent job at it, this is why he's got some type of worth now in the transfer market. So I think in terms of that for the squad, it's like, you know, how much money is he saving you? You know, most teams, they usually have 2 players for each position. With Oxlade-Chamberlain, you don't necessarily even need that. So, now, you know, because he can just fulfill whatever position the manager needs. So, you know, it makes a lot of sense. The money's a lot. But, you know, it doesn't really make a difference on money these days.
Well, 30 million, let's be honest, in the market is cheap.
Is it just 30?
It's like 30, 35 or something stupid like that. And obviously, considering that he was an English player and all of that kind of stuff, I thought the price would have been a hell of a lot higher.
Yeah. Obviously, because he's in the last year of his contract, that obviously brought it down a lot.
That's another thing as well. Oh, wait, sick. Hold on, I just seen something, guys. Cameron McDavid, loving the stream. Thanks to everyone, Chelsea fans in Brooklyn. Mate, I love Brooklyn. Just up on that, I saw it. I was like, yeah, have some of that.
Wait, is there a Brooklyn in England, or are we on about Brooklyn in New York?
No, New York, mate. Concrete triangle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do. Yeah, back to the point in question. The price that we got for him, I think, is fantastic. I think that the way that we can use him and the versatility, like Nini's already said, you know, Italian managers do love versatile players. Fantastic. Apparently, as well as that, we're in talks with Drinkwater, so the players are moving. And I saw while I was doing my research for like the second transfer show, just I was about to release it. Then they went, "Oh yeah, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has just signed," and it was on 95% processing. So I was like, "Well, it's old news now." So I kind of need to redo it. So I cut that. So that's gonna be after this, by the way. But you know, he's definitely a player which will bring something to the team, and I think that, you know, as well as him, like I said, Drinkwater. Apparently, we're in talks with Marquisio as well. So he's talking about an older player as well, and there are older players he's linked up. That Kandrova deal looks dead. There's nothing happening there, and I think with this Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain signing, that's it done. I personally think, obviously, I understand that the one thing that worries me about Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is there are Arsenal fans saying, "Yeah, have him. I don't care." Whether it's because he turned down the deal and they're, you know, they're just bitter about it, which I can see. I'd be bitter if someone was moving to a rival, or he's genuinely just one of the most inconsistent players about. Then that's something that worries me. But also, to be fair, he's a player which he's only 23, so he's still got years ahead of him. So he's got time to flourish as well. And injuries are always a problem for Arsenal players. And then as soon as they leave, they don't seem to have that problem anymore. That's just what I think, anyway. I mean, what do you think?
No, basically, I agree with. Basically, I have the same concerns that Nini does, as in, why has he been moved around so much? Because he's not that good in any of the positions. So, as much as in nowadays market, 35 million isn't all too bad, but Moses isn't the quality to win you a Champions League game. So me personally, or not a Champions League game, the Champions League, I mean. So I would have preferred to get in on the right wing back, just like a world-class player, although there are very few in that position because not that many teams play it. And, you know, the world-class fullbacks, right backs are like a world-class team, so you're probably not going to get them. But like, I would have preferred someone like very, very good in their position to like make Moses the backup rather than getting someone in that just fills every position somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he will start playing in that position. I think that he'll just nail that down. Even though he says, "Oh, I want to play in this position," he'll nail that position down. And then if we like Aspilicueta says, like I've already said, he nails, for me, Kante, Aspilicueta are the first two names on the team. Obviously Courtois as well, like every time. And Aspilicueta has his position nailed down. He just moves around a little bit if we need him to. And I think it's going to be the same with Oxlade-Chamberlain. He will have that position. If we need him to move about, we can move him about. But I don't think we'll need to.
Yeah, but like my point with this is Moses won us the league in that position. Oxlade-Chamberlain has played in that position, what, 10 games?
Yeah, exactly.
And Arsenal still only finished 5th. You know, although they were better towards the end of the season, won a fair few games, they had a better end to the season. But still, it's not like they won every game like we did for 13 games with Moses in their position. So that's why I'm not 100% sure. But he will take on that position. Obviously, Conte is probably a lot more used to playing someone in that position. And he taught Moses to play there. So he will probably improve Oxlade-Chamberlain a lot in that position. But I don't expect Oxlade-Chamberlain to start against Leicester, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I agree too. You know, I don't know. I think you're doing a little bit of a disservice to Moses. I think Moses is really just underrated. Defensively, you don't really see him get beaten. You know, his positional sense has been improving as the years gone on. I know he's got Aspie behind him, but he's still putting in just as much work to really complement their relationship as well.
I don't know. I really genuinely think that Moses is probably the weakest player in our team, and he does get passed by a lot. Not the Burnley game, but Spurs, that was their outlet, always down that side. And there was a few times they successfully got through because he fell asleep. And against Everton as well, they did target that right-hand side quite a bit, I felt. And, you know, I just feel if he gets forward, he's great. And he's got all the attributes to be a fantastic wing-back because he's built like a pretty shit-house as well, isn't he? Because he's you know, he can defend if he needs to because he's quick enough to get back. But the thing is as well, he just, for me, I don't know about Oxlade-Chamberlain, so obviously I don't watch Arsenal every game, but too much Moses. I just don't feel that he's got the mental strength to keep going up and down and be like, right and forward. Oh shit, they're hitting us on the counter. Right, I've got to get back quick. And there's times where he's been very lucky to get back into that position, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm not convinced by Moses. Like I said, he's great. He's great, but that right hand side is our weak. Oh well. Other than when Cahill's playing, that right-hand side is our weakest link, in my opinion.
Even if we think that Oxlade-Chamberlain is the upgrade to Moses, I don't think he definitely isn't an upgrade. I mean, Oxlade-Chamberlain isn't perfect defensively at all.
No.
He was. I mean, I watched the Liverpool game yesterday too. Out of position, how many times? The only thing that he's good at is his driving runs. But even, you know, when I look at driving runs, I look at, you know, what's the actual end product from it. And a lot of times, Oxlade-Chamberlain, you know, he adds that speed and drive in those attacking transitions, but then sometimes he's just running into dead ends, and you know, it's like a lot of it's all show sometimes without any real end products. But again, I don't expect him to come in and replace Moses like that, but I think he will be getting game time. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to be surprised to see him play as part of the front three, because I know, you know, let's say for example, Willian hasn't been as on point. I think his best game was against Everton recently. I'm probably thinking, if I'm Conte, you know what? If I had another option, because I'm not going to use any young players, I wouldn't mind saying, Willian, you're on the bench this game. Alex, for example, you know, you play there. Because, I mean, you know, Alex Chamberlain is not going to be upset playing in his natural position, you know?
No, yeah.
Can I just quickly go back to Moses? Because I think it's quite funny. We basically have 3 different opinions on him, because I'm basically in the middle of you two about him defensively, but I think considering he's naturally a winger, I think he does an all right job defensively. But I actually have an issue with his attacking qualities. And it's not just for me about his like end product as in scoring and assisting. I think he just, similarly to Willian, sometimes just slows it down. Like he runs down to the wing, then he stares at the byline, and then what does he do? Then either he crosses it and he doesn't find anyone because his crossing isn't all too great, or he passes it back and we basically have to start the whole thing again. I'm not saying his crossing is bad, but he's very inconsistent. Like he has games where he puts in 3-4 great crosses and then he puts in a stand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's bad defensively. I'm not saying he's terrible. I'm saying he's all right. Like he like you said, he's a player which is he's all right. He's not going to win you a Champions League. Neither's Oxlade-Chamberlain, but
neither is Alonso.
Neither's Alonso. But I mean, they're players which are good at their positions, and you need those kind of players in the squad. I mean, we're never going to sign a world-class right wing back. The opportunity we did have was this summer. That was Dani Alves, but he moved to PSG. I honestly think he's probably the only player in the world, off the top of my head, that go, oh yeah, they're world-class in that position. I can't think of anybody else. Aurier's all right. Bad attitude, though, so he's not really world-class, in my opinion.
Carvajal probably, but, you know, he's not the right back, but he could certainly fill that role. Yeah. But we're never going to get a Real Madrid player, let's be honest. Yeah. I mean, we got Morata, but not a starting Real Madrid player.
You know, we won't get a starting Real Madrid player. But anyway, let's talk about this game then. we've spoken about Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. There's a video. There'll be a link to that as well on the end card of this, and there'll be a link to it up above throughout the whole video because this is a live stream. When it ends, we'll put a link to our streaming video. So we're going to leave a link to Nini as well, so you can check out his video and all his thoughts of that as well. But anyway, Chelsea 2, Everton 0. Obviously, I did a fan cam with Nini yesterday. He summed up what I was thinking as well. What do you think about it all, Nini? Go on. Spill the beans again. Come on. Give us that
basically, guys, as I was saying too, it was very straightforward. Like, I predicted how it was going to be because obviously, you know, first of all, Everton had a lot of players who aren't fully fit. Idrissa Gueye, for example, and, you know, who aren't playing because of injuries. And when I made this point about a B-Tech Spurs team, I actually meant it because obviously with Spurs, obviously Ali, Eriksson playing that hole in behind, Kane, that's what Rooney and Sigurdsson were supposed to do. But of course, for those guys to work, you need your wing backs to be able to get forward. Now, it's a massive loss that, you know, Coleman, unfortunately, with that nasty injury, still out. He provide that pace and width as a wing back on the right. And Baines too provides that as well. But then again, they really struggled to really play out at all. And that meant that really they had no counter-attacking threat because Sigurdsson and Rooney got no pace. They're not going to be the guys who are going to make the runs in behind and do anything new. They need that support from the wing-backs in that team width, which they couldn't get. And I knew that obviously we'd be playing a 3-4-3 again. And I knew that would be even harder for Everton wing-backs to get forward, especially because it's not like Rooney and Sigurdsson are going to drop deep and help defend. So it's going to be more stress put on a half-fit Idrissa Gueye and Tom Davies in midfield because they're going to have to stretch and really help support the wing-backs, meaning, you know, we had all the time and space in midfield that we wanted. So, yeah, it was straightforward. There was no press by Everton. It was, you know, one of the easiest games I've seen for a while. And it should have been more goals. Yeah.
Basically, I agree with everything you've said, although I think it's a bit easy saying Everton were just very poor. Yes, they were, and they had a lot of players. Obviously, they played European qualifier on Thursday, and they had to rotate. What did Koeman say? Like 6 or 7 new players. I obviously didn't check their lineup for the Europa League qualifier game. But still, I think we have to praise our performance at the same time because I think we also have to play well enough to make happen what happened to Everton. Because we pressed them very well. Even Fabregas, you know, Kante, Fabregas, Moses, Alonso, we pressed them so well. David Luiz and Azpilicueta coming up from the defense as well to press them and stop Sigurdsson and Rooney getting anything into the game. And the one time Rooney did get something and played that nice ball to Sandro Ramirez in the box, Rudiger ended up blocking it. So
sorry to interrupt you, Lawrence. I've got some news. Got some news just come through now. I'm just checking Twitter. 9 minutes ago, Simon Phillips tweeted this. This is from SFR Sports as well. Apparently, Danny Drinkwater to Chelsea is a done deal. It's more than 30 million euros, and he is apparently, and he's apparently undergoing a medical at Cobham now. Apparently, this is what I'm saying here.
Sorry, that's what I find weird again. So now we sign Oxlade-Chamberlain, who obviously probably his main position will be the right wing back spot. But now we're bringing in. He obviously can play the centre mid role, and we're bringing in Drinkwater in that position as well. So, like, you know where I'm coming from? Like, we basically have 2 new players in that position that will hardly ever play unless, obviously, when rotation starts. But, like, Bakayoko isn't fully fit. Fabregas isn't cut out to play against the big team. You know, Arsenal is coming up. Yes, it's at home, but still, you know, although their midfield didn't look so great. So maybe he can do a job against Arsenal. But generally, he isn't cut out to play those games. And who knows how long Bakayoko will take to be fully fit. Although, in my opinion, he was very good against Spurs. Unless we sign another player in central midfield who is good, I'm like, well, what does he help? Yes, he puts depth into their team, but he doesn't add quality. And it's not like we have so much quality in that position selling Matic.
I think that basically, because I've not heard anything from my guy on Vardy as well. If this is true, then the Vardy deal's dead. There's no chance we'll buy him.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Yeah, because I knew this before the stream too, that Drinkwater, he's going to be signing. And the thing with, you know, basically the Oxlade-Chamberlain deal, that's what everything rested on, because that was the main #1 target that the club wanted. That's why Mourinho's been working the hardest to try and get it sorted. That's the one player Conte really, really wants. So he's bringing him in. And with Leicester, we were interested in Mahrez, Vardy, and Drinkwater, but they're only going to sell one of them. So I think with Alex coming, obviously he can fulfill playing further up and further back.
I mean, you say that. Monaco are saying basically half their team, so why wouldn't Leicester?
But it's different in the Premier League. So imagine, they can't sell 3 players like that, and then, like with 4 days to go, it's impossible. The only reason why Drinkwater is coming is because Kwajoriak is coming from Paris Saint-Germain. He's going to Leicester, so they've replaced him.
Yeah, I think put it this way. I think the way that Monaco operate, they are very Southampton-esque. Because they had when they got bought out, there was that whole deal that they thought that there's going to be a load. There's going to be loads of players. Falcao, James Rodriguez, Moutinho. There was that whole window where they bought all those insane players. They sold them all, and then now they went, right, we're going to go through this youth setup. And it's the same with Southampton, where every time they sell a player, they know they're going to either they've already got or there's what they can bring in. They roll like that. I don't think Leicester roll like that. Leicester roll like at the average Premier League club, where it's like, okay, we've got these players. These are our backups. Okay, we're sorted. Obviously, every club has 5 or 6 targets, but they don't bring them in unless they need to. Whereas Monaco have already pretty much agreed the fee, where they literally just trigger it and they're right. Okay, cool. Yeah, he's coming to us now. If we've sold this player,
don't you think that Krychowiak, however you pronounce his name, is better than Drinkwater? Because I'd say he is.
Of course he is, but I think we're lacking.
Why Leicester getting him?
We're lacking English quality. I think that's the only reason we're doing this. I think that Danny Drinkwater is this season's Fabian Delph signing.
Right. Great.
Yeah, probably because he's just not going to get much game time. But again, the whole reason why Conte keeps stressing about having depth. Here's the thing: we have the numbers in the squad. He just wants more experience in certain positions he's looking at. That's the main reason why Drinkwater is coming for 25 to 30 million pounds and stuff like that.
But he doesn't have that much experience at our level. He played 1 season of Champions League football, and he played 1 season of fighting for the league, and he has less experience than any of our players. Literally, at what's important.
I do think he is. I do think he's a good player, though. One thing I really like about him is his passing. It's not, he's got very good technique with the types of passes he can make. But the one thing I look at is obviously when you've got Jamie Vardy up front, he's always constantly on the move. Now imagine if you've got like a Matic, Kante in midfield. If you're even a split second too slow with deciding to make a pass, then Vardy can't run into the space. It gets blocked off.
But isn't that what Fabregas does?
Yeah, I know that's what he does, but I think let's say there's times, Conte's stressing that he does want to rotate a lot more this year. And this is why we're spending so much money on experience in these positions, because there's going to be games where Conte doesn't want to use Fab and he wants to, because there will be times we'll be playing 7 games in a month,
Yeah,
that's true. I mean, I hate to say it, he's great. Oh my God, there's another one as well as Fabian Delph. Drinkwater equals Jack Rodwell. But I mean, other than that,
that's a bit harsh.
No, but okay, Lawrence always tells me off for saying this. He knows exactly what words are going to come out of my mouth right now. We should have kept Chalobah.
Yeah,
what is the point? What is the point in buying Drinkwater? I mean, we're saying him and I think Chalobah and Drinkwater are pretty much exactly the same player. No, like not like that. But I mean, like in terms of experience, I think that Chalobah and Drinkwater pretty much on the same page. I think Chalobah spent more time at a club which is willing. Well, they push for stuff a lot more. We push for leagues a lot more. Drinkwater may have the experience to the point of he's come through the Man United youth system, so he's been at that. But he's older, but he's played at Leicester for the past 5 seasons. Championship for the past couple.
League One he played, didn't he?
I don't know if he played for him in League One.
No, I think straight to he went straight to Leicester from United's. Yeah, so he's just been there ever since.
So he's I don't know.
He's good. Like even last year when they were really poor, he was one of their standout players still. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Like obviously Conte was asked in the press conference, I can't remember which one it was. It might have been ahead of Spurs, but I'm not 100% sure anymore. When he was asked, does he regret selling the likes of Chalobah and Ruben Loftus-Cheek? And his response was just like, next question. So that tells you a fair amount, in my opinion, because basically, like Louis said, I don't think Chalobah is as good as Bakayoko. And maybe he's not just as good as Drinkwater right now, but he has the age on him. He has the experience of being at the club, so he doesn't need time to settle in, although it's not that big a deal if you're English and moving English clubs. But still, and he could do their job of being a rotation player. It's not like Drinkwater is going to come in and start. And Chalobah could easily do their job. Obviously, we all know the issue was that Chalobah wasn't willing to do their job anymore because he wanted to further his career, which I suppose is fair enough. Still find it weird that he went to Watford to further his career, but that's a different point. But But, you know, like Louis said, I basically agree with it. We sold Chalobah for 5 million and signed someone for what, 30, 35, whatever we're going to get drink.
I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. So I'm not going to lie. I have been told, you know, I've been told a few certain things of like how some of the players in the squad are. This is, you know, with the younger guys, you know, there's someone I know that knows. So I'm not going to get into too much detail, but, you know, allegedly, you know, Chalobah wasn't very happy at all, especially when, you know, Bakayoko was being linked to. And he wasn't happy because a lot of game time he was promised last year wasn't given to him. And I think, if anything, you know, Conte was the one who, if he wanted Chalobah to stay this year, he should have given him more game time. And the thing is, like, look at the Everton game, you know, late yesterday. We were 2-0 up, 60 minutes, I mean, 30 minutes to go, very comfortable. It's one of those games that Masunda, for example, could have got 15 minutes.
But it's not that comfortable. It's a 2-0. If you concede one, it's
context. That's the thing. Context of the game. Everton didn't create anything. Sometimes you just know. Like, the context of that game was there was no chances coming in. If there, let's say Everton were peppering shots in and it was fairly even, yeah, but it wasn't. And it's an example when Masunda, for example, you know, he could have got an extra 5 or 10 minutes just to, you know, you've been doing well in training. You're the guy who I've said is going to stay with the squad. You know, I want you to show that I have trust in you. It's certain things like that. And this is the reason why the likes of Aki, Chalobah, Ruben, because Ruben's been trying to leave for 2 years and the club have been saying, no, you've got to stay. Yeah. So this is why it's, you know, a lot of
the main issue was that we didn't have Champions League football last year. So that's why Conte rotate a lot less, because he realised, right, this is working. I want to win this league, so I'm not going to rotate it too much, which I personally think is fair enough. Obviously, it's annoying that because of that, we couldn't keep players like Chalobah, but it also makes sense. And obviously, I don't know, possibly Conte tried to promise him game time again, and Chalobah was like, well, you said that last year, kind of thing. Although obviously it would be different because more games. But, you know, like I said, I get it. It's
exactly. But here's the thing. The main reason why he even decided to leave was because when he was talking to the club about whether, you know, discussing his options, they discussed a potential loan move again. And I think once he heard that, he was just like, you know, I need stability in my career. I've been forced to go to Burnley. I'm gone to Napoli. I've gone, you know, to Middlesbrough, all these places. You know, I need some stability and I need to do something. And, you know, fair play to him. He's doing well at Watford now. Southgate is a fan. He's in the England squad. And here's the thing. It's just that chance and opportunity he needed. Bakayoko, this was his first actual, you know, full season he's played in his career, was last season under Monaco. He was having some Chalobah-esque situations the season before they won it last year, where he was in and out of the team, wasn't really playing much. Of course, we all saw that Makelele interview where he was discussing how he helped Bakayoko and how he fought for him to get in the team and said, you know, give this guy a chance. You know, he can do it. Manager gave him a chance, and now he's a 40 million player playing for Chelsea now. So, you know, I think Chalobah, I think he's a very good player. I think by the time he's 24, 25, we'll be playing for a bigger team. Yeah.
Obviously, the issue we have is we had Matic, Kante, and Fabregas ahead of him. And he's just not better than those. Let's be honest now. And that's why he didn't get game time. And that's why he moved to Watford. I'm not saying he's a bad player. Don't get me wrong. But he's not better than those three. And that's why he didn't get game time. And like Conte sometimes said, they think they're good enough. They think they're ready, but they're not. And considering how well Conte did, you know, no one has ever won 30 games in the league season. He can't be wrong about everything. Yes, he might be wrong about some things, and it might not just all be down to him. You know, Marina and Emanalo and, you know, these kind of people, it might be some of this down to them. But he can't be wrong about everything. And he's just not better than those. Obviously, it's an issue now because we need depth, but he just wouldn't accept playing. So I suppose we just have to deal with it. Although, obviously, I completely agree with what Louis said.
Yeah, exactly. But even when it comes to, you know, obviously Conte and the board, it's really like overhyped, this thing. There's like this massive disagreement with them. I mean, they work really well. The only recent issue has been that the club are saying, you know, what's wrong with you using some of these youngsters as the backup options? And Conte is saying, no, I want experience there instead. And this is the main reason for the issues. Obviously, Conte's been getting his way. He got Morata, the guy he wanted. When Emanalo wanted to bring in Lukaku, and this is why they didn't spend the money on him or even try to entertain anywhere near the money that Everton wanted for him. And I
mean, I'm sorry, but I'm not sure whether you just know more than I do. But like, I just think we just couldn't get Lukaku. Not that we didn't want to.
No, it was
like,
the money.
No, it was the money. Put it this way.
Exactly.
No. We wanted Lukaku. We were just doing an Arsenal.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it wasn't Conte getting his way. It was Emenalo.
It was Emenalo and Marina. It was us literally going 40 million, 41. What about 42? And in the end, Man United went 75. There you go. And and obviously Lukaku got his head turned, but he was also there going. But he said, "Look, I want to sign for Chelsea." He was saying, "I want to sign to Chelsea to people," but it just didn't happen because he felt he had unfinished business. And obviously he's got the mentality to, he wants to win stuff. He wants to better himself, and I've got no problem with that. Personally, Morata was always my first choice, but at the end of the day, if someone said to me, "You haven't signed Morata, you signed Lukaku," I'm not going to go, "Oh my god, Morata, I'm so disappointed." Of course, I'm not. But let's try and keep it back on the topic as well. So if Drinkwater was playing for us yesterday, would he have been a better option than Fabregas? Obviously, I'm saying this in terms of when the lineup comes out, we were sat there and we were going. I was sat there going, I don't know about Fabregas in this 3-4. Obviously, at the end of it, I was like, yeah, it was perfect. It's fine. Obviously, I'm not saying at the end of the game, he'll be absolutely oh no, Fabregas was rubbish. It was great. But if you were looking at it and the team sheet had come out yesterday and it would Drinkwater there instead of Fabregas, would that have made more sense to you?
No.
Nah.
You can never, and I mean never, play Drinkwater over Fabregas if they're both fit and rested, because Fabregas is a 2-time European champion, a World Cup winner, a double Premier League champion, and he didn't win the Champions League, but he almost did. You know what I mean? Like, no.
Yeah, but I mean, even though this was a tired Everton team. This was a tired Everton team. We need to bear that in mind. If that was an Everton team that was at full strength, would he have done what he did in that game yesterday? Or would it have been a bit like Burnley?
I'm just saying, when I see it, whether it obviously turns out different, we don't know. I'm just saying, when I see the lineup, when I see Drinkwater on the pitch and Fabregas on the bench, when they're both rested, I'm like, fuck's going on?
Yeah, of course. But I think we still would have beaten Everton regardless. I mean, this is why we've been destroying them this the past few seasons, and it's all due to tactics. Everton. Anytime you use a wing-back system, the wing-backs, if they can't get forward, you're short in midfield. And when you're short in midfield, that's when you're going to start getting exposed on the counter and have all these issues. And that's how teams are going to get chances against you. Now, Everton, their wing-backs aren't as good as some of the big teams. And the pace too, especially now that Lukaku's not playing up front for them, making runs in behind and stuff, is going to be hard. And this is why we tend to beat them quite comfortably because, just tactically, our system outbeats theirs.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense. But I mean, yesterday, who was everyone's star player? Just to, we're basically going to summarise the game up, and then we'll carry on talking about transfers if we need to. But I mean, who was your star player? Go on, Loz.
I mean, the obvious answer would be Morata. I mean, he assisted a goal again. He scored a goal again. The first player ever to score an assist in his first 2 home games ever in the Premier League. So that's obviously great. You can't fault that. But like I said in my review yesterday, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Pedro was just instrumental to us having a good game, in my opinion, to how much the performance changed from Burnley to Everton. Yes, Everton weren't that good, but Burnley aren't that great a side. Yes, they also drew against Spurs, but they're still not that great a team. Obviously, the red card didn't help either, but still, I think Pedro played an instrumental part in just giving us the urgency. He always gives us the urgency because he's always like, right, I'm going to score now. Like that goal against Everton. No one else in our team would have had a shot from there, away at Everton last season. No one else would have even thought about scoring from there. Like, even just the thought. And he just always tries to make that pass to score and score himself. And, he does that he does that more than other players do. And that's why he sometimes doesn't get the best match ratings, because he always tries to go for a goal and he always tries to make that decisive pass. But sometimes they don't come off and we lose the ball. And fair enough, it might be dangerous, but he still tries to score. And I think in some games we need that urgency, especially when we don't have Hazard. But even when we do, because Hazard, in my opinion, doesn't do that part of the game enough, I think Pedro is just incredibly important to the team. That's why I don't get why people are so after Mahrez. I'm like, Mahrez would just sit on the bench. But
I don't think Mahrez is too lightweight. I think he's great bit creativity wise. When Hazard's fit, we've got a player in that. But other than Hazard as well, we've got Charlie Masunda, who's apparently the only youth player not going out on loan, and Christensen as well. I mean, Charlie Masunda is a player that could offer that spark if he's given the opportunity. So Mahrez, I feel, is a redundant signing if it happens, which I doubt it will. It's been a rumour that's floating around for the past 2 years, ever since Leicester did well in the league. I mean, personally, my man of the match is between Willian and Morata, because obviously I said Morata yesterday, and I think straight up goal and assist, obviously but Willian, the way he drew players and the way he does that thing which he always does, where he kind of ran, stopped, and passed the ball back, but because we had Morata running through the middle and Pedro as well, all basically both playing at their peak, it didn't, he drew the players and they create the space. And
that's
I think
exactly what I mean, why Pedro is important. Because when Willian does then Pedro ain't playing, it doesn't work. So that's why Willian looked good. And I think he was good. He played well. But he always does the same thing. He does that in every game. He did that against Burnley as well. It just didn't work because there was no one else to help him, basically. But with Pedro, there was. So that's why I mean Pedro helps the whole team.
Yeah, Lawrence is definitely right. Pedro really does, especially for that front three, because obviously he makes those runs in behind. And I know, for me, that the player I liked yesterday was Willian, and I keep making this point all the time. Yesterday, we saw Willian cutting in from the left-hand side a lot. Now, that's Willian's best position, playing on the left, cutting inside, because the guy's a goal threat. Good shooting, his link-up play. His dribbling style makes more sense when he's cutting inside in field. Now, when he's on the right-hand side, it's much harder for him because he doesn't have that off-the-ball movement that Pedro has. And that's the only reason why Pedro looks good, I think, on the right, because Pedro is someone that doesn't need to touch the ball and get involved in play. If he's the one making the runs and behind, stretching the play, that's going to be better for Hazard and Morata. But
I think the main reason why Willian plays on the right a lot is because he's basically the only player in the team that can consistently cross the ball well. Not perfect, and not everyone, and not all the time some of our players gets to it, but all of his crosses are kind of dangerous. They get cleared a lot, obviously, but that's why the opposition have a defense. Exactly. It's not like just our striker in the box, obviously. I think that's the main reason. Yeah,
exactly. I think the main reason too is obviously Eden Hazard's on the left. This guy's top 3 in the world, in my opinion. I mean, there's no player in the world really you'd have over Hazard on the left-hand side. I mean, maybe Neymar is probably the only one, but then even then they're the same level in my opinion. So and this is why, unfortunately, Willian's only position he can really play is on the right-hand side. And for some reason, I don't know why the club don't work on his movement off the ball, which would really help. And this is why the right-hand side looks really unimaginative sometimes, because, Willian, the guy's more of a playmaker. He's more like a Hazard type of player than like a Pedro. And, that's just unfortunate for him, really.
He'd be good as a number 10, I think.
Yeah, he would be, because he used to play there and on the left. But this is why I keep thinking Mahrez would be a good signing, because
we don't need
replacing a Robin. Obviously his left foot cutting inside, and it's like having a Hazard-esque player. Obviously he's got the ability where he can beat 2 or 3 men. He can collect the ball from deeper. Amazing on the counter attack. Can play in passes and a goal threat as well.
I agree with the point that we're lacking a left-footed player up front. I completely agree with that. I'm just thinking, if we want to get, obviously it's very hard to get one, but if we were to bring a left-footed player in, what's the point in putting him on the bench then? To have him every other game, every third, every fourth game to even have that option, because then we might as well not. But
maybe that means, because remember, did you hear the rumours allegedly that Barca were looking at Willian? And obviously Barca are saying that they're looking at 2 or 3 more players before the window ends. So who knows? If you're a football club, you're always preparing in case anything happens. So let's say, hypothetically, if Willian was to go, Chelsea needs to make sure
we can stop that.
Yeah, of course he can stop that. But let's say Barca say here's 60 million, something stupid. As a club, you'll be thinking, because it's a business, you'll be thinking, maybe. And it's like, oh, Mahrez is 40 million, is 20 million less. I mean, if it did happen, I could see the logic behind it. But again, if you're a club, you're always thinking all the time.
Obviously, if we did sell Willian, getting Mahrez would be a good option.
Yeah.
But I don't think we are. So that's why I don't agree with getting Mahrez.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be sad, but I wouldn't see the point.
Yeah, because now there'd be no point. Unless one of them was going to go, either Pedro or Willian. That's the only way I can see Mahrez coming. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if Louis is there right now. I'm just going to talk about it.
Yeah,
the game, obviously. Obviously, I mean, I'm not sure whether that was the opinion of most fans or just me, but I would have preferred Christensen to start the game yesterday. But Rudiger was very good. And he even was good against Spurs. He was just not as good as Christensen. People I think were a bit harsh on him. Like I said in the hangover review of that, the people were a bit harsh because he was up against Kane. He was up against Eriksen. He was up against Ali. It's not easy. It's not like there were some school teachers he was playing against. And I think yesterday was very good. He got a few good blocks in. He had good distribution, which I think is important, which I think he is the main thing he has over Cahill. Because I think the other things Cahill isn't even that bad at. Positioning maybe, but mainly the distribution and the one-on-one defending. But I think Rudiger was just very good. I don't think Christensen could have done much better, obviously, down to the opposition as well. But like, you can only play as well as the opposition, you know, as much as the opposition forces you to play as a defender.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I agree too. I thought in the Burnley game, Spurs game, Christensen just performed a bit better than Rudiger. So if anything, if it was purely based on merit and performances, and really Christensen really should have got a look in instead of being on the bench. And obviously you can tell that Conte was very impressed with it. That was the main reason why Moses came off, Aspie moved to the right, and Christensen came on. But I don't know. I think as the season goes on, I think Christensen will cement himself as a first-team player.
I just think obviously Christensen looks obviously against Spurs when Luis moved into midfield. Christensen played that central centre back, and when he comes on, he plays that right centre back. And Rudiger seems to either play on the right, but usually on the left when everyone else is in there.
Yeah.
So maybe just Conte doesn't see Christensen as being there on the left. Maybe Rudiger's left foot is better. Maybe that plays a part in it. Obviously, we don't know so much about it because we don't see them in training. But that's something that would make sense to me because, like you said, Christensen looked very good against Tottenham. So on merit, it would make sense. Like I said in my preview for that game, would just make more sense to play Christensen.
Yeah.
But, you know,
exactly. Am I crazy? Yeah. Am I crazy for thinking this? But I've always thought, what if it ever came to a situation where Aspie had to play on the left? Because he basically is played on the left for how many years of his Chelsea career? Christensen on the right. And think about, people say not having a left foot on the left is a weakness. I actually think it's an advantage because if you look at opposition teams on the left, most times the wingers are cutting inside. Now, if you've got a guy that's got a left foot and you're left back, and you've got a defender that's got a right foot, then you're on your stronger foot all the time and you're up against guys that cut inside. So
it's basically an advantage defending and a disadvantage.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I've never really cared about, you need to have a left foot to play on the left, because you don't really need to have that.
Yeah, I think the main reason why Aspilicueta plays the right side centre back because our right-sided wing back is the more attacking one, and just worse at defending than Moses is not than Alonso. Sorry, although Alonso isn't great at defending, but you know he's more skilled as a defender than Moses is, or that.
Only aerially, I'd say Alonso's better at defending than Moses. I think I do like Alonso. Here's the thing: when people were, last year, people were like, "Oh, Marcus Alonso coming in, how can we?" Blah blah blah. You know how Chelsea Twitter is. Because I've seen this guy. I'm going to see him at Bolton and Sunderland, thinking this guy is a good player. And obviously, what he was doing at Fiorentina, I watched like a game or two, some match highlights. Yeah, he's going to make sense.
My cousin plays for Fiorentina, and he was saying that he said Marcus Alonso was absolutely insane. Like he's so reliable at doing it for anything as well. Yeah. So sorry I kept disappearing. It's all dark at the minute. Marcus Alonso is. I said as soon as we sounds like he's gonna be good. It's one of those players. He's gonna use. It's not a Dilla Budgie. Like you saw Dilla Budgie and you knew straight away. Okay, you've definitely never heard of him. And he come from what was it like?
Nantes.
Was it Werder Bremen?
The Nantes, yeah.
Nantes. Sorry, yeah. He went from on loan to Werder Bremen.
Yeah.
But he was he came from Fiorentina, so it's a European standard team, and he was decent. And and when I asked my cousin, like, what's he like? He said, I know he's good. Like he'll be good for you. And the thing is, right, I think that him and Moses were coached very well to be in those positions. They're coached, which is why we're talking about players not being like Champions League, like being able to win the Champions League. But I think Alonso's proven for me he's class. Like I personally, we need to, right now. We need to sign a backup for Alonso, not the other way around. I think if
you could get Sandro, you'd obviously make Alonso back.
Obviously, but I mean, right now I'm looking at. Do you need it? No, not really. I think we need it back up on the right hand side. We've got Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Here are my thoughts on it. Now, for me, here's how I see it. I think our best player by far is Eden Hazard. Now, with one thing Eden Hazard constantly has to do a lot of times is he's never staying near the goal as much as he should be in. This is what contributes to him not having enough shots on goal, which I think should be rectified because this guy is very clinical. When he does have a chance, most times he's scoring. And this is why he's getting like nearly 18 goals a season. Now, a lot of times the reason why he's got to drop deep is obviously to help beat opposition press, but also because Alonso isn't like a Moses where, one-on-one he can beat a man and get forward himself. He'll do that every now and then. That's not his main quality. So Hazard usually has to drop deeper to allow Alonso to get forward. And this is why I was thinking, if you had someone like, obviously Alexandro, who's basically like a winger where he can beat a man himself, that means Hazard ain't going to have to drop deep anymore. And then you're going to have a Hazard playing closer to the goal. A Hazard closer to the goal is just going to get you more goals and cause more teams more problems. And that's the only thing. I think another thing with Alonso, even though I like him, one thing I like is his one-on-one defending. Obviously, we've seen Ashley Cole, Felipe Luis, Azpilicueta. One thing I might like about these guys is that when they make a tackle, it's like they go in really hard and tenaciously, and they win it just like that. Alonso takes him too long to win a ball. You know, if a winger's running with it, he's following him here, following him there. It's just like you should have won the ball already. You know what I mean? So,
I think that's his lack of pace. That's the only issue I have with Alonso. I think that's his lack of pace, because he knows when he goes in for the challenge and he misses it, the other guy's off. Because he won't be able to catch up. And that's like, if Alonso was quicker, you wouldn't find that many better left wing backs out there in the world. And I mean that because, you know, he does everything. He scores free kicks. He defends well. He heads the ball. He heads the ball very well. He has a great touch. Like, his touch is unbelievable. The way he takes down every cross-field ball he receives is incredible. He crosses the ball all right, in my opinion. Like, you know, he had a very good cross yesterday, which sadly no one got to. Like, if he was that bit quicker, he'd be incredible.
Yeah. I mean, that's the unfortunate thing if he was, but that's what I mean. And you know what? I do think we do have a potential solution for backup. And now, obviously, it looks like Baba's obviously staying with us. He could be potentially going to Schalke in January, but I have a feeling once he's fit back in October, Conte's going to look at him and think, you know, this guy could be an option to keep for the season. And I think Baba makes more sense as a wing back. You know, obviously protection behind him, very fast, good one-on-one, and very good crossing. Like Alonso as well. So I think we're set now defensively. I mean, you obviously read these things where they're like, you know, we're not going to give up on Sandro until deadline day and these kind of things. It's not going to happen. I mean, if it was incredible, but it won't. But like you said, until then, you know, while Moses and Alonso are both fit, obviously Chamberlain can play both sides. Or if they're not fit, Azpilicueta can go right wing back, and Oxlade-Chamberlain can play left wing back. The
Alexandro deal fell through because somebody he fell through because of the Bonucci deal. It's not going to happen. He opened a bank. But what happened apparently is he opened a bank account at one of the big banks which football players go to, and he shut it down because he was going to come to Chelsea. But then as soon as Bonucci moved, he cut it. Like, that was it. So
basically, it's literally been too long as usual. Because if we signed him before, they just wouldn't have sold Bonucci. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if anything, it gets you thinking. Because obviously, it's funny you said that, because I reported that in the video like ages ago. And obviously, the bank account being open and stuff like that. But it's like, if the club had, you know, I always believe sometimes in the transfer market, you just have to spend more than you want to. I mean, that's the reason how you get certain players. If we went from the start before Bonucci went to Milan, because Bonucci went like that to Milan because they just paid the money that they wanted. If he had done that for Alexandro, he'd be with us now. But especially with the history of how our transfer window works, how many players are like, it's like a project. It's like, we'll wait a year or two before we can get them. Rudiger was one. He was supposed to come last year.
Yeah, but that was because he was injured. We would have gone.
Yeah, exactly. The injury, that's what stops it. Andre Schürrle was one when he was at Leverkusen. Salah was one. And it's like, I'm going to be surprised to see Sandro coming next year, because there's no way in hell he's staying at Juventus this whole year, his whole career. He's not going to go to Madrid. Barca, who knows if Alba just has a disastrous season. Maybe if Mendy really flopped this year, which I don't see happening, his options are limited. And I have a feeling Dybala will probably leave Juventus and go to Barca next year. And it's like, what are you really staying at Juve for? You know, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him come next year.
Twice in 3 years.
Yeah, of course. But if you look at the players they've sold now, you know, and the ones they brought in, not as good.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, right, we got anything else that we need to cover?
You want to talk about
one? Sorry. I saw one thing about, obviously, you know, that source he said earlier, obviously, Bakayoko, when asked about Drinkwater, he said that he's not worried about Drinkwater. So I think, in a way, that's another way, you know, it's like being confirmed that Drinkwater's coming.
Yeah. I got someone tweet me. Apparently, like, it was you know, they accidentally put something up on the club website. Apparently, they've done that. But I don't know. Like, he sent to me.
I'll send you the photo on Twitter. Yeah,
I got that as well. But I mean, obviously, I'm not sure. I don't know whether it's true or not. But I mean,
it's Photoshop. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I know. I went on the website and I didn't see anything. But obviously, you know.
But yeah, do you want to talk about the Sanchez story that apparently he handed in a transfer request at Arsenal? I mean, obviously, Man City would be the favourites, But we haven't spent that much on an individual player. Yes, Morata, fair enough. But we still have money to spend. I mean, we've got bloody 60 million for Oscar.
Mhm.
So I mean, just why not?
Yeah, that's the thing.
They won't sell us. They won't sell us Oxlade-Chamberlain and Sanchez. If they do, Arsenal will just crumble. I mean, Troops is already
selling to.
Have you seen Troops on Twitter? Just go on Troops' Twitter now, Loz. Seriously, and just look at his latest tweet.
I'll check it now.
Yeah, but
Just
honestly,
look at it now. Hold on, I'm gonna put the light on quick.
is it impossible for us to get him? Because I'm thinking, yeah, we keep saying Man City, but then they've got Gabriel Jesus, they got Aguero, they got Silva, De Bruyne, Sane and Sterling. If Sanchez was going to come, he would have come already by now. I think realistically, either abroad or I think we could get him. I think we honestly could. It'll be easier for him to move across the road to to SW6 as well. And I mean, if he really has put in a transfer crest, I mean, what could Arsenal really do? He's only got a year left in his contract and he's gone. And then it's like, if they leave it, you can enter negotiations 6 months before the contract ends and then get him to sign a contract before the season ends. But it's like, why keep a player that don't want to stay for you? And you might as well get some money from him if he does want to leave. So if it is true that he's putting a transfer crest, we have to go in for him. Without a doubt, you have to sign him.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, Loz, go on. What do you think
about us signing Sanchez? Well,
you're literally having a South Park moment, aren't you? You just creaming yourself over the thought of Sanchez, Hazard, and Morata in the front three.
He won the league.
Basically, I'm like, I just can't see it happening because City will pay more than we will. City arguably stand a better chance this season of winning silverware, although they haven't exactly started the season well. Yes, they got their lucky win against Bournemouth, which last goal should never have stood, but that's a different debate. So he will probably choose them over us, but apparently, I mean, obviously I don't know Spanish, but apparently remember end of the season when he said with Chile he wants to stay in London. Maybe that plays a part in it. Apparently it did for Chamberlain. I mean, who wants to live in Manchester? Let's be honest.
Of course, and I just don't see him playing for Man City because they're set up front. I mean, if he does come, that means Aguero wouldn't play. So would Aguero then be on the market? Because he's not going to want to, he doesn't want to be on the bench the whole season. And look at the system Pep even has to use to get a lot of these attackers in the team. So Sanchez coming, I just don't see him. It doesn't make any sense for him to go to Man City. Like you just said, it was reported earlier that he'd rather stay in London. So if he was available, then the club would be stupid. But again, the club aren't stupid like people say. I'm sure they'd be going straight in for him if he was available.
Yeah. Anyway, right. I think that sums up everything, doesn't it, boys? I think we're done for today. But yeah. Anyway, now you can't see me. I'm like, here we go. Give me a second. Wait.
Oh, it's not an issue, mate.
Wait. Shut up. Right. Okay. So. Now you can kind of see me. Yeah. Make sure you guys subscribe to 100% Chelsea. All social media links down in the description. Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. Make sure you check out Lawrence's Snapchat. No, not Snapchat. Make sure you check out Lawrence's social medias. There'll be a link to it on there. He'll ask you about that in a minute. You go check out Blue Lions TV because Nene's putting up a transfer show, or it's already up, and he's got his Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain thing literally going live as soon as this is done. So yeah, do you boys want to sign off?
Go on, Nene.
Yeah, you guys are Nene FC. I'm on Blue Lions TV. Follow me on Twitter. That's at Nene FC. Definitely do that. The Snapchat is Blue Lions TV. I'm going to be bringing back Snapchat Q&A this Friday. So if you want to ask me any questions, send a video message. I'll get the video. I'll answer it. I'll pick the best ones and keep it moving. And yeah, obviously subscribe to Blue Lions TV and expect hopefully to see me and 100% Chelsea do more collabs during the season.
Definitely. It's going to happen. Don't you guys worry. That's happening. But yeah, go on, Loz.
All right. I mean, something we haven't plugged today, and I mean, what we're doing. So, where have you been if you haven't heard about that? But we've set ourselves a sub target of 45,000 subscribers by the end of September.
Brandon told me off for not saying that in the last video. Sorry. Yeah, carry on.
You silly something. And if we do reach that target by the end of September, we will give away a signed Chelsea shirt, signed by a Chelsea player, not by any of us. Who wants that? Signed by a Chelsea player. So that would obviously be incredible to whoever wins it. And, if you help us win that, help us reach that target, you stand a bigger chance of winning. So if you have subscribed already, tell your friends about it. Tell them to subscribe. We'd massively appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed yet, what you're doing, click the button down below and subscribe. But yeah, I mean, check out my social media links, which are down here. Loves1507 on Instagram and Twitter. I'd massively appreciate it if you follow me there. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm going to end it now. I'm going to try. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like I said about 300 times now. Up to Chelsea. And I'll see you next time.
Yeah. I'm finishing off because I need to do my social media. So guys.
Sorry.
Like Lauren said, we want to hit that sub goal. So if you can, I look like I'm telling like the world's worst ghost story. I'm really sorry. Yeah. I can't exactly run away again when we're about to finish the stream. I've done it twice, and that's not fair. But yeah, make sure you check out my social media. You can ask me about everything down there, including the stories which have been happening today. So obviously, Alexander Chamberlain, Danny Drinkwater. Make sure you subscribe. I want to hit that sub goal as much as all of us do here. I can't win a signed Chelsea shirt. I don't have one. I really want one, but you guys are going to get the opportunity to win it if you help us reach that target. If you don't, it will roll over. But if we reach that target, who knows? Like next month's prize could be a lot bigger. And put it this way, all I'm thinking is 100K. You know, it's going to be huge. That's all I'm saying. I think 100K would be a massive treat.
This track, mate.
This track hype will have finished way before that. I mean, guys, like Lauren said, make sure you subscribe to help us reach that goal. Check out all our social media links down in the description. Check out my social media. And like Lauren says, I'll see you next time.
Thank you guys for watching.
No, you do it. You do it. You do it. You do it. Go.
Thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea. And we'll see you next time.